Hi again. Today we're going to be learning about Isaac and his sons. The big idea here is choosing forgiveness. And this week's passage is Genesis 25:19 through 34, but I encourage you to read on to Genesis 27 because it has more details, and this, how I read it here, will be more choppy and detailed in some places and not so detailed in others, but the memory verse you can focus on is, "Bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you." Colossians 3:13. The overview is Abraham's, or Abram, special son, Isaac, grew up and got married. Isaac and his wife Rebekah had twin boys named Jacob and Esau. Jacob and Esau did not have a good relationship growing up, and Jacob even ran away from home because Esau was so angry at him one point. Many years later, Jacob and Esau met again. Esau could have continued to be angry at Jacob, but he learned that he could choose forgiveness. Jacob and Esau ended up being good friends because Esau chose forgiveness. Our Bible passage today that we'll be focusing on is about these twin brothers. Even though they were twins, they were actually very different. One day, Esau came in from the field and was so hungry that he made a foolish decision. Later, when it came time for Isaac, the twins' boy's father, to die, Jacob wanted to make sure he got the birthright instead of Esau. Esau was so angry when he found out what happened that he actually wanted to kill his own brother. But Jacob ran away. Years later, Jacob returned home, afraid of how his brother would feel about it. But when Jacob was still on the road, Esau traveled to meet him. Esau had chosen to forgive his brother, and he was no longer angry with him. So, I'm going to have another, it's the same story, but kind of going on. When you feel a certain emotion, like happy, clap your hands. If you're mad, stomp your feet, shake your fist. If you're scared, put hands on your face and say, "Oh no!" If you're sad, rub your eyes, pretend to cry. Just the practice of feeling these emotions out loud. Do it with your friends or your family, whoever you're watching this with, kind of as a fun activity, just to make sure you're listening, basically. So Esau gave away his birthright, or his inheritance, for a bowl of stew. Later, Jacob tricked their father into giving him Esau's birthright and blessing. Isaac told Esau to make him a meal. At the meal, Isaac would give Esau a blessing. Rebekah, the twins' mother, overheard this and told Jacob how to trick his father. Isaac couldn't see very well, so he gave away the blessing to Jacob without truly knowing it was him. When Esau returned from hunting, he discovered that his blessing and birthright were gone. Rebekah told Jacob to run away. Jacob went to his uncle's house far away. Jacob lived with his uncle a long time, he got married, and had many children. After many years, God told Jacob to return to his own home. When Jacob was near to meeting Esau, he sent gifts for Esau and prayed that God would protect him. When Esau and Jacob met, Esau hugged Jacob. Esau chose forgiveness, and he was no longer angry at Jacob. So, weird activity here. Please don't do it. Please don't actually do this activity, because that would be wasting food. Just think about it in your mind. Okay, so it's about milk. If you like milk, go ahead and grab a glass of milk, but don't do what I'm about to talk about, because that would be gross. So who likes milk here? I do, for sure. When do you like to drink milk? All the time. If you don't like milk, I am very sorry, so this might be hard for you to imagine. Choose a drink that you like to drink, I guess. So I love drinking milk right after I've eaten a cookie. It's very refreshing to me. So go ahead and take a sip of your imaginary milk, or the cup of milk that you have with you right now. What do you think? Pretty tasty, right? It's pretty delicious, but what do you think would happen if you poured some lemon juice into the milk? That might be sour, right? The lemon juice is like anger and bitterness, and the milk is like our hearts. When we let anger sit in our hearts, it starts to turn our hearts sour. Do you want to drink the milk now that it has lemon juice in it? Not at all. You can even smell it and it would be gross. When we remember that we can choose forgiveness, we don't let our hearts turn sour. It's not always easy to forgive, but God will help us do it. Just like Esau forgave his brother, Jacob, after all those years, we can choose forgiveness for the people in our lives as well. Hopefully it won't take as long as many years. So that's the lesson for today. It's kind of short, and I apologize for these short lessons. It's kind of hard to do. Like I said, there's a bunch of activities that are given to me, and I'm unable to do it with you guys, which is sad. Just a reminder, please don't do the lemon juice and milk thing. It's a waste of milk. It's nasty. Going into my favorite book. One of my favorite books. The Bible's my favorite, of course. So, today's lesson is entitled Sun Power. S-O-N. Get it? Jesus came to them and said, "All power in heaven and on earth is given to me." Matthew 28:18. And he probably didn't say it that way. I realized how proud that sounded. If you had to go without food for a few days, you'd find it hard to do something even as simple as lifting your arm. Why? Because the energy you get from food fuels your body to work. No food means no energy. And no waving your arm around. Plants need food too. A plant's food, its energy, comes from the sun. In fact, the sun is the source of almost all the Earth's energy and power. It warms our planet, it powers our weather, and it moves the waves and currents in our oceans. Life on Earth would be impossible without the sun, and I bet you can't even imagine it, can you? I can't. And if you can, it might be scary, pretty dark, right? Every second of every minute of every day, the sun converts almost 700 million tons of hydrogen gas into helium gas, and most of that turns into energy. Amazingly, we get more energy from the sun in a single hour than what we need to power all the devices on our entire planet for a year. There's another sun whose power is truly indescribable. God's only Son, Jesus. Jesus had the power to do impossible things, like heal the sick, make the blind to see, raise the dead to life, and stop storms. Because of Jesus' power, and because he gave his life for us, we receive forgiveness for our sins, and the ability to talk with God, and the gift of living forever in heaven with him. And with his power, Jesus helps us do things that seem impossible. To forgive someone who's hurt us, like we learned today. To love our enemies, and do the right thing even when no one else is doing it. That's the power of the sun, and it shines brighter than a million suns. Be amazed. We usually think about our energy coming from fossil fuels, like oil and gasoline. We use the energy that comes from burning fossil fuels to run our cars, heat and cool our homes, and keep our stoves hot to cook meals. But fossil fuels are actually second-hand forms of solar energy. That's because fossil fuels are plants that have been broken down over time. But even those plants started out with the energy of the sun. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and I can't wait to do next week's lesson. I'm going to try to come up with more activities that you could do with your friends or family, or that you could watch me doing. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and hit that comment bar down below. Or if you're people I know, you can go ahead and message me on Messenger. You can text me. You can even give me a call. Write me a letter. I love hearing from you guys, and I miss you all. I hope you have a good day and enjoy that sun power out there. Bye!